Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday morning again. If you can tell by the trees behind me, the sun's just now coming up. I've been out since 6 o'clock this morning, Was able to place the signs out this morning and do a whole bunch of photos, and I'm fixing to head to a customer's yard to do a sanitation deodorization spray next. In the last hour and a half, I've made about $120. So not bad for the last 2.5 hours, sorry. So not too bad. I've had better days, but it's a pretty good morning so far. After this, I'll be done. So, what I'm recording today is, I just was thinking about something that Erica had said at Crouppin' Scoopin' Poopin'. Yeah, Erica, her Crouppin's Pooper Scooper service. About the weekend stuff. Somebody had posted on my page that we work Saturdays. I'm like, well, as many, we're close to 400 yards that we do. We run 7 days a week. Case in point, now Saturdays is a very light day. Typically, it's only like maybe 8 or 10 jobs. And normally I'm not out here doing that, but we just started yard sanitation and deodorization last week. I'm the only one with the system and the setup right now, so I'm the one that's going to go run it until we get more. We had 5 sign-ups in the last 3 days since we launched it. So, and then we had a whole bunch of looky-loos, people that are, questioning about it. So I'm hoping it turns out to be pretty big, that we can add it on with our services when we're already there. This one here, unfortunately, our scooper was here yesterday. She scooped the yard, and then he said, yeah, I want to do that. And she's like, oh, well, it's a different guy. We only have one system for 9 scoopers. But what I wanted to talk about was, let me get my steering wheel out of the way. I want to talk about what Erica talked about, the weekend hustle, the side hustle. I mean, yeah, this is what poop scooping was for me. It was a weekend side hustle. I had a day job doing pest control, made really good money, knew what I was doing, had a pretty easy gig. Basically, I was a account manager, which basically meant my boss handed me the tickets where stuff was written down on. I called and set up the appointment service myself, and then they were always my customer. I made commission off of them, and I made an hourly rate, had a take-home car, had a boss that was, super relaxed. He paid me really well. It was really hard when this actually grew for me to leave, but I was thinking about, I had that job, and then I had a night job. I was a night courier, so I did courier work, 1099 courier work out of my own car. It was just paying off debt. And then I started this in the middle of all that. So I was doing this on the weekends, and it started to take off and grow and take off. And it was just a weekend thing, a Saturday, Sunday. And customers would ask, oh, can I get a Friday? Oh, can I get a Thursday? Well, unfortunately, I had to tell them no. I mean, there was no possible way. I mean, with working a full-time job and a Monday through Friday full-time afternoon job, I worked 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon doing pest control, and then at 6 o'clock that night route started. I had to start picking up all the samples, and I had to have it to FedEx by 9 or 10. I think it was 10 o'clock by that one. It's been 2 years since I've had to do that, because then they got a local office, and they pushed us back to start time at 7, 8 o'clock, and but then the lab didn't open till 11 o'clock at night for these samples, because they worked like 11 p.m. to like 2 p.m. the next day, because they got samples in from UPS and everywhere else, but neither here or there. So I really didn't have any time, nor was I going to cross this town to do one job. So with it being a weekend thing, that's how this started. And after about the first year, I had enough to leave my job, pay my bills, but I didn't have any cushion. Excuse me, I haven't been to bed yet since yesterday, so I'm on like 26, 28 hours or something. I don't know. And that's another thing of being a business owner is you get so many things going on that I'll go 2 days without sleeping, because it's not that I'm busy. I have so many small tasks that come up that every time I'm going to relax, I get an email or I get a phone call or something comes in that wakes me back up, and I'm like, well, I'm up now. And now that I'm kind of relaxing, sitting here for a minute talking to you guys, I'm starting to yawn. I figured I would do this video. I gave this customer an ETA that I was about 15 minutes away, so I could take a few minutes. But the weekend hustle. So, a year into my journey, I had enough to leave and pay my bills. I was ready. But then some wise people, like, my ex-wife, if anybody who knows me and my ex-wife are best friends. She is my soulmate. She is my best friend. She knows me better than anybody else. And her mom too. Her mom literally calls me their son now. We have this weird mix. We all get our families together. We have, my ex-wife's son that she has now, I'm called Uncle James. That's how close we are, That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But basically we realized after 10 years of marriage and being together for 13, 14 years, that we were better off as just friends. That it was time for us to start chapter 2 of our life. It sucked, but it happened. So she and her mother was like, well, she's like, you have enough to live on. She's like, but are you still going to be able to pay down your debt? Because I had a little bit of credit card debt and a little bit of, debt out there, like a lot of us do, and I said, no, not really. So I was like, well, let me stick out what I'm doing, because I was still going to do the night job. I wasn't going to quit it, and I was just going to quit the day job and start scooping through the week, rearrange all the routes. So I'd be off on the weekends. The other thing was she said, now, you've only made it through one winter. I said, yeah. How do you know what the next winter is going to be like? Oh, well, I don't. So that's my other thing I want to say is, one, hustle, hustle, hustle. Work a day job, work a night job. Excuse me. Work your, whatever your side hustle is going to be. If it's power washing, cleaning houses, whatever it is, do what you have to do to get as much of your debt paid down. This was the best advice I've heard from all other business owners who left jobs to go do what they were side hustling. Was paying down debt. The debt will catch up with you. If you start making 6 digits plus like I am, the people look for me. I got bills that come out of the woodworks from 10 years ago, and I'm like, who are you? What? Hello? But pay your debt down, before you leave. That way, okay, so say your company's making enough for you to pay your bills. Make it go a little bit more, just a little bit more, before you leave everything that you're doing. Get you a nice little nest egg saved up. That was the one thing I didn't do, is I didn't put a lot of money away when I left. I wish I would have. I wish I would have put a couple months away, saved it up. That was the original plan. But the girl that was working part-time for me, had taken a new job, and her schedule was going to change, and she wasn't going to be able to do what she was doing. And I was like, I really don't want to train somebody, because I was going to leave in like 2 or 3 months anyways. So I kind of got pushed into, leaving my day job earlier. Luckily I had a boss that was understanding. So he let me have 2 days off a week to get the routes done. And then I worked 3 days a week for him for the last 3 weeks. And got all the work done that he needed to get done. So really what I'm getting at in the video is just getting with all your side hustles. I spent probably a good 2 years paying down debt, just sinking money, just paying it. Life sucked. I mean, it did. I left 7 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't home till midnight. I was gone all Saturday, gone all Sunday. You can ask my daughter. She'll sit here and she'll testify. For a good 2, almost 3 years, all I did was work. I was a single family household. It was just me paying all the bills. You know, I had rent, I had a car payment, I had insurance, I had all the credit card debt that had been racked up over the years. I had to get all of it. You know, there wasn't no two incomes. So get your affairs in order. Get your debt paid down. First things first, and what I'll tell anybody, and I know this is going to sound weird, stupid, whatever, is your emergency fund. Everybody's like, well, Dave Ramsey this, Dave Ramsey that. I wish I would have heard of Dave Ramsey before. Okay, so seriously, get you $1,000. Put it in another checking account somewhere that you physically have to go to the bank and get the money out. Stick it there. Trust me, because if your car breaks down, you know that $1,000 is sitting there. Okay, instead of worrying where you have to get it or having to put it on the credit cards, if there's any money left on the credit cards. You know, and then starting with your smallest card, putting as much as you can on it. Some people like that way, some people don't. The reason that it's a mind game on the smallest card. You got a $300 card, you know, you put $150 on this check, 2 weeks later, another $150, that card's gone. In a month, you've paid that card off. You know, it's a boost that you're going to need, okay? And, you know, I know they all say interest, yes. But, you know what? Continue paying minimum dues on the rest of the cards. And get that lowest card and put as much as you can on it. Simple as that. Just do it. You'll be relieved. You know, that one's gone. Take that card, put it in a baggie, drop it into a baggie, fill it up with water, put it in the freezer. I know it sounds stupid, but the reason I say that is, one, it takes 10 to 12 hours for it to unthaw. So, okay, something comes up, you may figure out a solution how to work it out or negotiate it out, or, you know, within that time before using that card. And as you pay off another one, do the same thing. But if you're going to do a side hustle on the weekends, that's fine. You know, but get your affairs in order before you make it a full-time job. Because once it's a full-time job, that's it. Those customers don't pay, you got to figure it out. And I've had some very, very, very tight months. I didn't save. I racked one of my cards all the way up on the first month on my own, just because the bills, the way they all fell, you know, I had to use that card for gas and food and things like that I just didn't have saved up. But I'm going to go spray this yard, and then I'm going to go home and take a 2-hour nap and pick up my click list at noon, and then go home, probably take a 30-minute nap, and then be up for the next day and a half. So y'all have a good night.